with our Auctioneer Q&A, auction event prep. So I want to say thank you so much for popping on here today. We're going to be rocking and rolling in just a couple minutes, so stay tuned. Hope that sounds okay for you. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, wait, gonna pause that. There we go. All right, all right, all right, all right. Hey, good morning, Benjamin. Thanks for joining me today. Sorry about the delay. Had a impromptu meeting pop up, but we're gonna rock and roll. All right. Mary is on. Hey, Mary. Good to see you. We're going to get going here in about 2 seconds with our Auctioneer Q&A. Look at that big smile today. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, welcome everybody to our Auctioneer Q&A here on Friday. And I'm excited to be here with you all as always. Thank you for joining us live. For everybody that's out there, we got some friends here on YouTube Live, and everybody that's out there in the world. We're from all the way from Germany, rocking and rolling with the cowboy hat there. And then Marijuana, where are you you at again?
Florida.
Florida. All right. Look at that beautiful, beautiful sunshine. In Long Island, New York, we do not have sunshine. Well, we have sunshine, but we've got like 3 feet of snow, and it's horrible.
Yeah. We have sunshine and spring is rising up immediately. We have around 20 degrees Celsius.
Oh my gosh. Send some of that our way.
Huh?
All right. So today I'm going to be talking about what world-class auctioneers do before they ever touch the mic at events. Now, with events, I do focus on fundraising events and nonprofit events, but this is really applicable to all auction events that are out there, whether you're doing cattle sales, whether you're doing car auctions, whether you're doing estate sales, real estate, whatever it might be. This is applicable to all of that. So I want everybody to just kind of put that in mind as we're going through here. So let's see here. All right, good. I think we're good. All right, I actually did notes for today. So big picture, what does preparation actually mean? Now, when you hear the word prepared, what does that mean to you? And what do most auctioneers think that preparation is? I'm a Boy Scout, so be prepared is the motto of the Boy Scouts. So making sure that we're prepared in all different elements, not only in our auction chant, in our mindset, in our gear preparation, in our health and our hydration, and then also being ready and scripted, ready to go on all of our different scripting different, trying to think here to say it, presentation is really what it's all talking about. Now, preparation isn't memorization. Preparation is alignment with the mission, alignment with the message, alignment with the moment that we are in. In the nonprofit world, it is very specific on an event date, usually happening in the evenings for like a cattle auction or real estate or anything like that. The day of the auction is that moment, and then the mission of that is definitely to get as much money as possible for our consigners. Same thing with nonprofit events, is to get as much money as we can for our nonprofit clients, to help them raise as much money as they can so that they can be as prepared as possible. Oops, I gotta hit record on that. Good thing I got it on the YouTubes there. There we go. Now we're recording. All right, so we're talking about the preparation and what world-class auctioneers are doing before they even touch the event. So confidence. This is a big thing that I've been talking about lately as well, too, is confidence coming to the mic, confidence coming to the auction, confidence coming to the event. And confidence is that byproduct of preparation. This is not a prerequisite to going into the event. Now, confidence comes from being, again, prepared in mindset, being prepared in body, being prepared in heart, and getting ready to go, and being ready to go, and having that that knowing that we are in the right place at the right time, and we are the right people to do the job and to do the task at hand. So now, as we move on to script preparation, or whatever you might call it, what do we deciding on before you ever arrive? So you got to think about, what parts of this event, what parts of this auction really must be scripted. Now, scripted, you might have your introduction, you've got your outro, you've got to really be as scripted as possible in those elements that need to be scripted. But then you've got your flexible points of the auction, of the event, where we're able to use our auctioneer jazz, is what I like to call it. And that's really what auctions are. Once we get into the space, it's jazz, baby, is what I always say. So we want to make sure that we're prepped and ready to go for what needs to be scripted. In a commercial auction, you're definitely going to have your terms and conditions. You're going to have your just announcements that are there, but then you're also going to have again, that jazz that's going to be coming through there. At your nonprofit event, you're going to have your welcome, you're going to have your mission, you're going to have why we're here. We're going to be talking about items, and then integrating all of that together that's there. Now, where do we plan in pauses? Do we plan in silences? Do we plan in those opportunities to let the audience really sink into what it is? And the answer is yes. You've got to figure out in your preparation of your performance to know that there's the time to make the noise, there's the time to do the auction sound, but then there's also times to just pause and let people think, and let people really understand what the task is at hand. And that task at hand is whether, we're raising money or we're selling commercial assets, whatever it might be, that sometimes decisions take time. So you've got to be prepared again, and in your auction chant and in your presentation, to be able to make these pauses and these silences be meaningful, is really what it's all about there. So in this, you've got to have your opening, which is so key. And no matter where you are, you've got to have that opening down tight, because opening language and that first presentation that you have, that first representation, that first impression that you create is what creates trust. This is that opportunity for your audience, for your bidding audience, to know you. They've got to know who you are, what you're there to do. They've got to like you. So if there's a way that you can come across and be liked right away, but most importantly, they've got to trust you. And by having that adequate opening language prepped and ready to go, and sometimes it's scripted, you are able to create that trust. You're able to create that likability, and then create that knowledge of who you are, that you are who you say you are, and you're there, that's ready to go. Now, in the contest realm of auctioneering and the auctioneer contest, like, I'm a big proponent of making sure that you've got your intro ready to go. Now, with the auction contests, it becomes a bit of a laboratory. It becomes a bit of a space for us to practice all of our auctioneer elements. Now, with that opening, you've got to have this. You've got to have it prepped. You've got to have it ready to go. And for me, my opening is very simple. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bobby Deeb. What an honor and a privilege it is to be here today with all of you wonderful folks here helping us for this wonderful cause. Now, we've got some great auction items that are coming up, so please grab those paddles. Let's get those bids going, and let's have an auction. I might have done that a couple times, a couple hundred times, a couple thousand times, but it's having that preparation and ready to go in what that opening language is. Now, scripts are guide rails. They're not handcuffs. They are guide rails as you are moving through this. And a part of that scripting, you aren't scripting words, you are scripting outcomes. Like, what do you want the result of the particular phrasing, the particular messaging, and ultimately the auction? What is that outcome outcome to, that you are looking to create. And your words and your actions, your movements, all of that go to help us create that outcome. And that, again, is the whole point of all of this, is creating that positive outcome. So as important as your opening intro is, your closing, your outro, this is that last chance to really leave a great impression. Again, for what I use the contest and what I use at events all the time, is like, oh my gosh, friends, what an amazing night. So inspiring to see everybody be racing their paddles again. My name is Bobby D, and I want to thank everybody for your participation, for your attention, and willingness to help this amazing mission. Thank you. Good night. And that's pretty much it. And it's rolling on. And that leaves such a positive impression for everybody that's there to be like, oh, I like that Bobby D guy. He's a great auctioneer, one of the best we've ever seen. And when it becomes auction time, I want to make sure that I remember that guy. So that becomes a bit of your calling card. That becomes that last impression that they are going to remember from what had just happened. So make sure you've got that down right. So we've got to ask, who's is scripting this. A lot of times it's our clients are providing talking points, but ultimately we're the ones that are presenting this, and ultimately we're the ones that do create this. So sometimes there's over scripting, and that I've been guilty of over scripting, where we get the client is they're just so focused on scripting, and they're so focused on what the words that need to be said, instead of being focused on the flow, being focused on the preparation, or not the preparation, the performance of what is happening. And when it's smooth and when it feels good and it feels authentic, then the audience is going to buy into that more. If it feels scripted and it feels like somebody is reading directly from the teleprompter or directly from their notes, whatnot, it does not feel as good. So making sure that you are scripted just to the right amount, not too much, not too little. It's totally Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So as we're moving from the scripting and the preparation and that, then we've got to get into mindset preparation. We've got to talk about, how do you walk on stage? How do you get ready to get prepped? Are you telling yourself the right things before you take the mic? Is your focus on performance, or is your focus on service? And this is so important, because again, when we lead with that mind and that heart of service, we are giving so much back to our clients, versus us just being in performance mode. And in performance mode, I mean, it's just like the Olympics that just happened, that they're there to win. And they're there to put on the best show as they can, and the best performance as possible. But their outcome is to win. And there is a difference between performance and service. We are providing a service for our clients. We're providing a service for our consigners. We're providing a service for our nonprofit clients. Let's see here. I think I've got a question here. Hey, yes, Benjamin, yes. All right. Yeah. And if there's any questions that come up, please pop them in the chat. I am here to help. And even on YouTube, you can pop them there in the chat. I have got my eyes on you. All right. So the whole point of service is that it's not about me. It's about the outcome. It's about the service that we are providing. And that's the professional mindset that we need to have as we're coming into this. Now, as we're performing, which, again, we have this performance, but we are performing with that heart of service, is that ego really can tighten the room. And when it's all about us, or it's like all about me, and I'm the best auctioneer in the world, and you've got to listen to me, and this, it really tightens the room. And it's not about that. It's about, coming with that heart of service, which is what opens it. I have seen some auctioneers where it is all about them, and they are in this egotistical space, and it really closes the room off, and there is some off-putting feelings between the audience and the auctioneer. And when that disconnect happens, you don't have that trust, which is so important, and you need that trust. So borrowed confidence. Now, you've got to, again, come in with this confidence, and sometimes there is a lot of this fake it till you make it. But in this fake it till you make it, you also have to know that you have to trust yourself, that you've put in the reps, you've got the systems, and you have the frameworks of this performance that you're going to have. You got your intro intro, you've got your outro, you know what your items are, you know what your bid increments are, you know all of these elements that are there, and it's with this preparation is what is where your confidence can come from, and it's this borrowed confidence, which is really able to get you set up for as big a success as possible. Now, as you are as prepared as possible, with that is going to come some calm. And with that calm, people are going to feel that calm. They're going to say, okay, this is something that I do want to interact in, versus someone that's very frantic and everybody's all over the place and we're 25, 35, 35, oh my God, 45, it really, that erraticness creates erraticness in the audience, and that erraticness really can turn people off again. Again, we're trying to create as a calm, we're trying to create as open and trusting space as possible. And auctioneers, we're the ones that really dictate that. So you've got to think about also, what are some of these mental traps that show up before events? And a lot of times these mental traps are imposter syndrome. It's like, am I really the right person to be here? Am I really the right person that's supposed to be on the stage? And you got to get rid of that. You are in the right place at the right time, and you have the right skills, the right knowledge, and the right experience. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in that place. And yes, again, there's that borrowed confidence that's got to come out, that you do have to fake it till you make it a little bit. But once you make it, then you know that you are supposed to be there. Just this past Saturday night, huge event in Chicago, 750 people. They wanted to raise $1 million. And yes, I was nervous because, I do want to, I'm very passionate, and I'm very particular about the performance that I create. And I want to make sure that I'm serving the client as best as possible. So I had to make sure that I stepped into that mindset, that I was ready to go, and that I'm the right person to be there at the right time. So the mindset shift is really what can change the results. And when we come in with that mindset, with that confidence and with that heart of service, we are able to change not only our own performance results, but then the results and the outcomes for our clients. So now moving on, we're going to be talking a little bit about breath and body preparation, why the mic amplifies your nervous system. So we all talk about warm-ups and put the warm-up routines in there. We've got videos all about that, but we've got to warm up not only our voice, but we also have to warm up our body, and we have to warm up our brain. And when you're nervous, you do get erratic. Now, my buddy Aaron, it's Randy. Any quick tips on a cure cold? Okay, Randy, I'm going to answer this question as soon as I'm done with this section here. That our friend Aaron Klesick was on a coaching call with me this morning, and he had showed me a video of him auctioneering. I think he actually put that in the school, so you can take a look at that. But you will notice that he gets really excited in that, and with that excitement, the tone and the pitch of his voice comes up, and when the tone and the pitch of your voice comes up, your airways become constricted. You started breathing from the top of the lungs instead of the bottom, instead of taking that good belly breath. And then what ends up happening with that is it really wears out your vocal cords as well too. So you've got to warm up that voice, but warming up that body and warming up that mind, that here we are, we're ready to go. And when you're nervous, yes, we are nervous when we get this. And what that is it's not necessarily nerves. What it is something that I call skited. And skited, what it is it's scared. You're scared, you're nervous. You're like, what's going to happen? Because we never know what's going to happen. But you're also excited about the opportunity that's there. So instead of taking the butterflies and letting them control us, it's us getting the butterflies to fly into alignment. And once they're flying in alignment, because everybody's going to have butterflies, then you're going to be as successful as possible. You're able to calm the nerves with that calm energy. The audience is going to have that calm energy, and then they're going to feel in the right place to be able to bid and to be able to participate. So again, we're talking about that shallow breath, which is going to equal that rush chant. We don't want that rush chant. We want you to be in control of that breath, control of your pacing, control of your numbers, control of your number increments. And your tension will show up in that voice and in that timing. And you'll notice that in Aaron's video, that That does happen. And it's not that he did a bad job. It's just that we're noticing that we're able to be better. And these are the different ways that we're able to be better. And by videotaping yourselves, putting yourselves out there, it will make you better because, and we do have to analyze this and see this. So tension shows up in voice and timing. The best way to calm yourself as you're getting ready to take that auction stage is, getting yourself in that right mindset, having that confidence, but then also once you're taking that stage, grounding your feet, relaxing your shoulders, having that intentional breathing, and all of that is really going to present that calm confidence again. Now, what I like to say is, like, everybody's got these raptor claws in their toes. As you're taking the stage, once you get your spot, you're in that center mark, you're in your light, I want you to just pause, grab a hold of that ground, grab a hold of that stage, whatever it might be, and get those talons in there. And what that's going to do is that's going to help ground you. And when you're grounded, again, you're going to have that calm confidence. Now, the room mirrors the auctioneer's nervous system. And if you're nervous and you're erratic and you're all over there, then the audience is going to be like that too. But if you're calm and you're collected and you're energetic, then the audience is going to follow, with you. You've got to be aware. Again, earlier this week, I talked about body language in a post in school, and it is the body, like, I guess 95% of communications, that's what they're saying, is nonverbal. And if you're kind of swaying back and forth, or you're moving your hands a lot, or you're being distracting, with that, people are going to feel that as well too. And they're going to be like, ah. So that's a huge thing to be able to be in control. So here's some practical exercises as you're getting ready to go. We just want to take 3 calm, slow belly breaths. So I kind of need this morning too, because I've had a bunch of coffee and it's been a crazy morning. So you got to drop those shoulders, you feel those feet on the ground, get those raptor claws in there, and that's so important. Okay, so Randy's got a question. Quick tips on cure a cold and sore throat before my first competition tomorrow. Randy, oh my gosh, buddy, I'm sorry to hear that. Hydration is key. You got to hydrate. Make sure you're sipping on that water a lot. You can put a little bit of honey in that. You can put a little bit of lemon in that. Sometimes if it's a real sore throat, a little bit of coconut oil in there as well, helps with the warm water. You can stir it up, sip on that. It's not contest day and it's kind of in the evening. You can put a little whiskey in that too. That'll kind of help, clear you out. But then making sure before you get into the contest to, again, be hydrated. And I want you to be warming up pretty much that whole, that as you're getting into the contest thing. I want you to try to be as quiet as you can from right now until that time. Just keep hydrating, keep gargling that nice warm lemon honey water, and don't stress. Stress is really going to make it even worse as you're getting close to the competition time. But again, lemon, honey, a little bit of coconut oil. This is really going to help you with that. But stay hydrated, stay calm, and you're going to be ready to go. I know it. You're going to be awesome. And you know what? If the cold happens, it happens. It just, was a part of the game. And as auctioneers, we're all human. And sometimes sickness does happen. I have done some auctions that I've not been in the best health, but we do need to put that best performance out there. We do need to put our best showing that's out there. All right, hold on a second. I got a comment. The right bread is important for concentration, sport. Oh my God, yeah. You're right on it there, Benjamin. Sport, studying, performing chance, for the first aid, the pills from the pharmacy will be the protection layer. Oh yeah, that's another one as well too. Is you could suck on like some Ludens, some Halls, something like that. That'll help you to keep your throat clear and good to go. Okay, so moving on, gear preparation. So we've got to talk about a little bit about the gear. We got the microphone, we've got the sound system, we've got all those elements there. Making sure that you are working with your AV team, your audiovisual team. If you're not working with an audiovisual team, at least making sure that your microphone is set at the right levels, the appropriate levels. We want it above the audience, but we also don't want it to hurt the ears. We want this to be as enjoyable as possible. So making sure that you've got the right mic, making sure that your placement in the room, the placement of the speakers, and all of that's right. The gain awareness, and making sure that the power that you have isn't too heavy, so that again it is a comfortable experience for everybody. Making sure that you're in the right clothing, you're in the appropriate clothing. Now, Benjamin, you're going to a cattle sale. You're not going to be in a tuxedo, but if you are going to a gala, sometimes you've got. I mean, you do have to dress the part and stand out. So as you are, finding things to wear, you definitely got to be comfortable. But it is that presentation. You look good, you feel good. It's so important. Making sure you got the right shoes that you can move around in, but then they're also looking good. Making sure that you've got your notes. I use a iPad Pro is my tablet that I have with me on stage as I am working the audience, so then I can keep my notes on there. I can keep my scripting in there. I've got all of my stuff in there. So making sure that that's charged, making sure that that's ready to go. Cameras, recording devices, making sure that it's in focus. This happened to me on Saturday night. I did not focus the camera, so it's a little blurry. We still get what's going on, but I did make that mistake. So that's something that I got to make sure that I'm good to go for next time. But again, having all of this gear set, prepped, because there's nothing worse than having to focus on something that's not as important as the service that you are providing to clients. So your confidence can drop fast when gear becomes a distraction. Don't let it become a distraction. You got to be focused. You got to be with, again, that heart of service. And sometimes the gear doesn't work, and you got to keep going with it. You got to keep moving forward. So diet and hydration, fuel for focus, not energy spikes, eating right on the day of, no heavy meals. Randy, you're going to be okay. You are going to be awesome. I know you are. It's going to be totally cool. I can't wait to, I hope they're live streaming it, because I will be tuning in and watching you and cheering you on as well too. So hydration, we talked about this already. Hydration starts hours before the event. It doesn't start 10 minutes before, but hours, days beforehand, making sure that you are well hydrated. I can't remember where it is. I think it was maybe Ohio State, and they have a sign as you are leaving the locker room. Are you at championship level? And what championship level means, championship level in mindset, but also championship level in hydration. Now, if your urine's clear, you're good. You're hydrated. You're at champion level. If it's not, keep hydrating, keep going. You got to make sure that you're, avoiding the sugar spikes. A lot of times we'll be chugging coffee, we'll be drinking sodas, and what that ends up happening is as we're doing that, we get going, and then it'll drop. And there's nothing worse than having your energy level or your sugar, your blood sugar drop while you're on stage. So you got to prepare for that. You got to be healthy. You got to be ready to go. Your dry mouth is comes directly from your breathing control. Breathing control can really keep your voice as lubricated as possible, but then also making sure that your brain's working right and your heart's working right and everything. So you got to think about what your pre-event routine is going to be before you do get to that pre-event. I have learned the hard way many different times of not being in the right hydration state, not being in the right fuel state, and also not being in the right mental state. And it does happen. Then you just got to go with it. And sometimes you're not in the right physical state or the perfect physical state. But again, you still have to bring your best, and you still have to do your best for that client there. Sugar spike control. And after Red Bull, you can go fast for an hour, but then you fall asleep when the power decreases. Yes, you're absolutely right, buddy. I have had a Red Bull before the event. before the auction, and it does get me really, really excited. It gets me going, but it's also being able to control that and having that in the right spot. All right, so now we're going to be moving into team preparation and coordination. You're not a solo act. You got to meet again with the AV. The client is a part of your team. Your ringmen are a part of your team, and you've got to find out like who that point person is that you can have communication with while you're in the auction moment, because sometimes what'll end up happening is there will be something going on over on the side that needs to get taken care of, and you've got to go and take care of that, but you can't take care of that because you're on the microphone. So that's where your ringman, that's where sometimes the client, that's sometimes where your right hand assistant can go and take care of that while you're rocking and rolling. So making sure that you've got clear roles, you're going to do this, who's doing that. Your ringmen, they need to know what the items are, which items that we can double up on, what sections that they're in, who is the lead ringman, who's again the point person that's going to be on the floor, making sure you've got your scribe. Yeah, question.
I got a question about the ringmans.
Yeah.
You can't watch all your bidders when you got 300 bidders in your audience, and you have to get the ringmans as a spotter. How many do you need? On the sale barns, I see one in the corner, one in the middle, and the third on the right wing, or
Well,
the right corner.
So on Saturday night, we had 750 people. I had 2 ringmen. And the number of ringmen you have or required is the level of experience and professionalism of these particular ringmen. Now, these ringmen work 4 or 5 times a week, and they are awesome. Like they were in it, they were on it, they were everywhere. Now, if I'm working with
on the auto auction sale, yeah.
Oh yeah, yep, and they were totally doing that, and I loved it. Then they were super energetic and they were ready to go. Sorry, I gotta text my lovely wife real quick. I'll be on ASAP. There we go. All right. So in kind of my calculation is it's usually 1 ringman per 150 to 200 people. Now, if you've got an experienced ringman and you are in a sale barn, you could probably have 1, and that experienced ringman's going to be looking where you aren't. They're constantly looking back. Like if you're over here and you're selling to a couple bidders over here, they don't need to be paying attention over here. They need to be paying attention over here.
In the sale barns, there are corners left and right. You can't watch them as an auctioneer. You have to get the ringman.
That's right. And sometimes, God forbid, we do work without ringmen, and in that case, we have to be even more diligent of focusing all the way around the sale space, all the bidders.
Sale barn, some bidders are raising the finger or pulling the head, and that's the bid, and you have to recognize them all, and that's impossible without a spotter.
Yep, absolutely. Marijuana had asked, do you bring your own ring assistants? No, I bring my own ring assistants to all my events. I bring at least 1. And what's great about the network that we have here and the national network of auctioneers is that, let's say I need somebody in North Carolina, I can put an ask out there. I need somebody in North Carolina. If I need somebody in Las Vegas, I've got people in Las Vegas and Chicago. I was contracting for an organization, and they they provided the ringmen, and I was super lucky because they were absolutely amazing. I love them. So having the team prep, the coordination, knowing who can solve the problems in real time, having that communication with your AV, making sure that you've got a tech run through your rehearsal to make sure that everything is going to be smooth as possible once the showtime happens. The smoother the team, the calmer the auctioneer, the calmer, the more confidence and the more trust that the audience has. So this is the team working together. So now we're moving into the pacing decisions. Where are you getting to start? Where do you slow down? Where do you apply the pressure? We talked about silence earlier. Silence is leadership, because you have control of that microphone. You have control of the dialogue that's there. You are able to use that silence effectively. Generosity does need space. You've got to know and decide the pacing before it kicks in. Stuart, I'm going to answer your question here in a little bit. So it's if you've got like a ton of head of cattle and you're rocking and rolling, or you've got a ton of autos that you're selling at your auto sale, or even if you've got a large fundraising auction, 10, 20 items that are in there, you're going to have to, you're going to need to have a snappy pace that's in that. Now, you could be running 3, 4, 5 items. You don't need to be as fast, but you still need to have a nice snappy pace because you can't draw this out. So deciding about what your number of lots per minute is going to be, or per hour are going to be, per time, but making sure that you know what that pacing is, and you got to have that ready to go before the adrenaline kicks in, because a lot of times you'll get in and you'll go too fast and you go over the top of the crowd, and you don't want that. You want to be in control. You want to have the right pacing, use the right words, the right time, the right silences, all of that together. This calm authority is much more important than speed, but you do need to be aware of that timing, and you've got to be aware of the momentum that's in the room. So, final pre-mic check. What do professionals remind themselves of? What's the one thought that you want to have before stepping on stage? We got to think about that. Like, what's your happy place? Happy Gilmore, he had his happy place. So what's your happy place, and what is your happy place before you step on the stage? You've got to think about that. You've got to think about what is going to get you in that confident, that calm, that collected zone. You got to trust your prep. You know that you've done your preparations. Preparations start now, so you got to make sure that you're doing that, making sure that you come in again with that heart of service, that you are there to serve the mission. You are there to serve your client. Being present is way more than being perfect. You got to be present. You got to be there, and not worrying about all that other crap that's going on behind the scenes. You got to be in that moment, and you got to let that room come to you. You have to be attractive and magnetic. And once you can do that, you are going to bring people towards you. You're going to bring bids in. You're going to share that confidence, and you are going to be bringing that in. So in closing, I'm gonna ask the crew that's out here, what's one preparation habit that you're committing to improve, before you hit the mic. What's one thing that you're thinking about doing? Benjamin, marijuana, Stuart, Randy, what's one thing? It's all about true price discovery to get the best bid for the sellers and the buyers. Absolutely right, Benjamin. You got it. But making sure that you are prepped, you're ready to go, and health, I think, is probably number one. Making sure you're hydrated, you've got the right food in you, and also making sure that your muscle between the ears is prepped and ready to go, and then your muscles, your mouth, your body language, all of that is prepped and ready to go. And that's why we do our weekly drills, and that's why we're always working to be as best as we can, and that's why we practice. Practice makes progress. Progress makes perfection. So the work before the spotlight determines the impact under it. Remember, auction is action when preparation meets purpose. So I want to see, is there any questions that are out there? Because again, this is our Q&A. Stuart's got a question: best places to advertise for-profit auctions, personal property. Buddy, I'm going to tell you, Facebook is the most important or the most effective place to be able to get that. But you've got to find the right groups to advertise those particular items in, so you can get in those groups. Make sure you're active in the group and not just spammy saying, "Hey, I got this auction, I got this auction, I got this auction." That's a great way to get kicked out. But if you're in there and having conversations with these different seller or buyer groups or affinity groups or whatnot, that's a great place to go out advertising. And then paid Facebook market ads is huge. Getting those out there, and then building that email list. Those are the best places to go. Email list, having that Facebook ad presence, and then also making sure that you're in those affinity groups of those different places that you are. And then networking is going to build and get that there. All right, so marijuana has a question here. I grabbed 8 students who are benefiting.
Actually,
Yes.
actually, I'm sorry. So it cut off my top question.
Oh,
So
okay.
what do you do when you are doing a benefit auction and the auctioneer is on stage, a higher stage on the spotlight, and the room is set up that he cannot see all the people in the audience? They have these small little walls in between 4 sections.
Oh, okay, that
So
sounds
the
fun.
first section, yeah, the first section could see him, but not the other two sections on his left and his right. And
Ah.
so that, not only that, the whoever the people putting on the gala, they did not have paddles,
Ooh.
nor did they do bidder numbers.
Ooh.
So everyone was registered by their names, and the lighting, we asked them could they turn up the lighting some, and they turned it up a little, but it was such that the auctioneer could only see the first, two, three rows of tables, and the tables went all the way to the back.
Yep.
And um, yeah, and it was kind of a madhouse. And thankfully, I was there as an assistant that day with him,
Good.
and I hurriedly found the volunteer coordinator for the fundraiser who was benefiting some of these student programs,
Okay.
and I grabbed 8 of their student volunteers and took them in the back and basically trained them to be ring assistants in 20 minutes and
Nice.
placed them all in each section where they could see, the auctioneer could see them, and it was their responsibility to see who was bidding and then to identify that the winning bidder. And then I floated in between all the sections.
Nice. What?
But
Yeah.
uh, well, I'm from education background, so that's what we do.
Nice.
But other, and I know the answer is make sure you're meeting with the people who are hiring you first to identify the setup and do all that,
Yep.
which clearly, on this end it hadn't been done. But if you are not able to do that and you've not seen the venue or the setup, and you get there like we did, and that's what you got, and hey, you're on. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. You gotta you
What
gotta
what do
deal with it.
you what do you recommend other than what you know
Well,
I put in place?
yeah. Well, you did the perfect pivot, finding that help, understanding and knowing the shortcomings of the venue and the space, and to go and take control of that. Like, that's beautiful. I love a ring person, a assistant that's able to take that initiative and say, we need some more help here. Because there's some that could say, no, I've got this, I'll handle it. And then there's people that aren't getting recognized. There's bids that aren't coming in. There's some frustration that's in there, and that doesn't help the auctioneer at all. And it's our job as ringmen and bid assistants to really make the auctioneer be in his best light as possible, literally in the best light as possible, so that we're assisting them to make them look good. Because again, when they look good, then the audience feels good, and that's what we really want to have happen. In the instance of having the venue in a unique space such as that, that becomes a conversation beforehand with the client, and it's like, okay, well, what does this venue look like? We might need some more assistance, we might need some different lighting, some different sounds, some different things like that. So having those conversations with the client beforehand. I understand that you were there as the assistant, so probably don't have that control or that connection to the client, which is totally okay. You did the right thing. I love it. I love the initiative. But as the auctioneer, to making sure that you know what you're getting into in regards of venue, in regards of table placement and lighting and different elements like that. But sometimes we got to pivot. We got to move on. We got to move, and we got to shake. Because again, when it's time for the auction, it's all jazz, baby. That's what it is. It's all jazz.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
You're welcome. You're very, very welcome. Thanks for joining us today. So I'm going to wrap up here in just a couple minutes. I want to see, is there any other questions, thoughts, ideas when it comes to event or auction prep?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah, buddy.
If you are asking maybe the price for 300, who will give me 300? And two bidders are accepting price simultaneously, and both ringmen are raising their hands simultaneously. Who will get the bid?
That's that is your decision as the auctioneer, and you're the one, because you're finding the highest price, is you're dictating who the bidder that's in and the bidder that's out. So if you've got two hands that come up, you've got to pick one. You got to say, all right, I'm bid right here at 300. Who's going to give me 350? Oh, I see how your hand came in at the same time. I have 300 here on the left. Sir, you need to be 350. And then you by being in control.
If they want the cattle really badly, they are battling against each other, I think. And
they're gonna bid again. Now, if the one bidder's stuck at 300 and he won't go anymore, be like, no, I saw this guy first. My bid right here is at 300. If you want to go to 325, 350, this is your opportunity, friend. You got to get in, right now, or you're gonna miss out. And then that's again where that voice inflection, that's where that control, that's where that confidence comes in. And it does happen, But again, as you're setting the price, you're the one that is driving the results. You're the one that's driving the bids, and you're the ones that's selecting who the bidders are. And you're like, okay, I'm bid 300 here. Now you get a bid 350. 350 now 4. And there'll be times that more bids will come up at the same time, but then that's where you've just got to select that one bidder, and then you got to move on.
Yeah, but because the clerks have to notice the auction and the prices and bidders and
all of that.
Both the cattle and because the I don't know the word about the contract the judical or
Are you talking about the premium, the sales commission, stuff like that?
The moment to get the translation.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. I do.
I have the legal basis for the clerks. Yeah.
All right, you look up that. Marijuana's got another question.
Okay, and I believe I heard your answer to this in another live as well as on something in the classroom.
Okay.
But I can't recall what it is. When you are doing fundraising auctions, you do it for a living, which means you can't always, do it on a volunteer basis.
Right.
Are you doing yours on a flat rate, percentage of sales, something else, or does it depend on?
It really it depends on the client. Some clients do like a flat fee. There are other times where they will agree to a commission. I obviously like a commission because then we can kind of control our own destiny. There have been times where we've signed on a commission, and then we always say they're betting against the house. They tell their bidders, or they tell their donors to be like, no, don't give, because we got to give 10-15% to that auctioneer. Just give it to us later. And I hate that when that happens. It does happen, but then that's where we would put like a minimum flat fee or a percentage, whichever's greater. There's some other ways that you can get paid. You could donate an auction item, and whatever that auction item sells for is what you get paid. There's times where we'll do like a revenue generator, whether it's like a golden ticket, the 54 card raffle, the bag of money, different things like that. And we bring this additional revenue generator to the table. We can then say, hey, we'll bring this to the table, but we just split it 50-50. And then I'll do the auction, I'll do the paddle raise, I'll do all that, pro bono. But then where my fee comes in is we're going to split this additional revenue generator. So there's a lot of ways to skin that cat and find out what works best for you. Ultimately, you've got to find what your value is, but then also what your working rate is, because you only have so many Saturdays and so many Fridays and so many Thursdays, and you got families, you got friends, you've got personal commitments, and we can't work all the time. And you've got to know what that dollar figure is, kind of your heck yes figure is what it is.
Gotcha. Are you doing packages, as part of your setup, depending on who it is? One package, hey, I'm showing up, flat fee, or commission, and there we go. Or I'm meeting with everyone beforehand.
Yep.
Or I can come walk through, talk about maybe help set up. I can bring ringman, clerk.
Yep.
So are you okay?
Yeah. We have offer 3 different options. Option 1's kind of a basic that we know that we're set up for success. Option 2, adds in some a couple different additions, and then option 3, which is like the Lexus version where you get all the bells and the whistles. And the reason you do that is you definitely want to set that happy number as that middle rate, and you definitely can say, all right, here we've got the low rate, but if we stepped into option number 2, you're going to get this, and this, and this. And then option number 3, set it so high that you're scared of it, because you never know, they might say yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Benjamin, here we got our final question. In regard to legal regulation of the auction background, just to ensure that no bidder insists that they were allotted the lot. And it's more of a okay. I mean, it does happen sometimes where you'll have someone bid, and I think I'm understanding this correctly, and then they say, no, I'm out. And I don't want to bid, or I didn't bid. And in that case, you've got to have that ringman that's ready to go and able to come back to the other one. Now, in the case where you have a lot that comes up and nobody bids, it happens. We talk about that as well earlier in earlier conversations, that you got to keep the momentum going, and you're going to offer the item, and you're going to say, hey, this is it. This is what it's going to be. Who's going to get bid in? And sometimes nobody wants it, and you just got to move on. And if and then that comes down to the conversation or the agreement that you have with the seller. Like, are you still going to get paid on that item whether it sells or not? So I don't know. Did that answer your question, Benjamin? Okay, good. Excellent. Very, very good. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody on YouTube that joined me live today. I want to thank everybody that joined me live here on auctioneerschool.com. And for all that are watching this at future times, thank you so much. Thank you for all the impact that you're making in the world. Thank you for putting yourself out there and doing something that's not easy. Thank you for building your confidence, building your performance, and building your professionalism to go and serve our clients as best as we can. Coming from that heart of service, not ego, heart of service is what it is. So I want to thank you all again for being a part of this, and I will see you. It might not be next Friday. It might be next Thursday. So stay tuned. I'll put that up in the chat. And if you've got any ideas of what you want to hear about in Auctioneer Q&A, please send me a message, post up in the group, and I will make it happen, as I'm here to serve you. All right, everyone. Thank you much, and we'll see you next time. All right. Bye, everyone.
To be careful with. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that we'll keep Apple for another week, I would say, and see if she can help train and maybe give her that option if she wants to stay on for another week and help train Kayla. Or does she want to
Okay.
go?
Okay.